Hello, it's me. I'm back with another little snippet of goodness to share with you. I have a metaphor for life for you today. Sounds a bit deep, doesn't it? I heard this a little while ago now, and it changed something in my brain. And I want to share it with you because it's a really simple metaphor about being worthy or worthless or not. Let me just tell it because I'm rambling and you're probably lost by now. So anyway, I have here, this is a $50 note. This is the biggest denomination of money I had in my purse. In your own money, it could be $100, it could be 50 quid, it could be, whatever you've got. But the biggest note in my purse was a $50 note. And so I'm gonna use this $50 note for the purposes of this. Now, if I said to you, to any of you watching this, do you want this $50? If I was going to hand it to you right now, if I was like, here you go, do you want this? I bet you would all go, yeah, I want $50. It's free. Of course I want $50. Yeah, it's worth $50. It's a lot of money. $50 New Zealand is probably about, I don't know, maybe $35, $40 American. It's worth 25 quid British. Yeah, of course I want it. It's money, But at the minute, it's pretty clean and it's a bit pristine and it doesn't look like it's been used very much. So what if I now took this $50 note and I buried it in the garden, got it covered in soil, and then brought it back out. And then once I'd buried it in the garden, I then went and chucked it in a bucket of water. So now it's muddy because it's got the soil, the dry soil that was in my garden, and I've mixed that with water. And so, of course, that's made mud. So now the $50 is covered in mud. And then I went and I thought, wouldn't it be really funny now it's wet and covered in mud if I went and stuck it in, took it down the beach and buried it in the sand, and then, took it out. And now, not only is it covered in mud and wet, but it's covered in sand because the sand stuck to the water and the mud, and so now it's a little bit battered and bruised. It's had life happen to it, and it's now not looking quite so good, and it's probably feeling a little bit sorry for itself. Now, if I then offered you that $50 note, how many of you would still take it? I am guessing pretty much every single one of you would still take that $50 note off me in that state, because after all, it's still worth $50, right? It's still got value. It's still something that we can take and use and actually spend. It hasn't dropped its value just because it's a little bit battered and bruised. It hasn't changed in value just because life's happened to it. And so I want you to think about yourself in the same way. Just because you've been hurt, just because you've had experiences happen to you, just because things have gone on in your life that you wouldn't perhaps have chosen, just because somebody's been mean to you, because somebody's called you names in the past, just because something or someone has hurt you, that does not make you worth less. You are still incredible. You are still you. You are still amazing. You still have so much to give. If you had, if you looked at yourself like this $50 note, you're the $50 note in this condition, pristine, clean, amazing, or the $50 note that's battered and bruised and muddy and dirty and covered in sand and water, they are still worth the same thing. And that is how I want you to see yourself. You are not defined by what has happened to you. And if you are seeing yourself as worthless or worth less just because you've had experiences happen to you, then you need to stop. You need to stop now, because that is not who you are. You are not worth less. You are this $50 note. And no matter what happens to it, no matter what it goes through, no matter what it experiences, it is still worth $50. It does not change the fact that it's still worth $50. And so I want you to understand that it doesn't matter what's happened to you or what you think or what you perceive about yourself. You are worthy. You are worthy of all that you were worthy the day you were born. Nothing has made you worthless just because you've been through life, just because you've been through the mill. Take that metaphor, take the metaphor of the $50 note and apply it to yourself, because you are still incredible and you're still worth the same amount no matter what